Okay, I'm now interviewing Janet Sereu, who is currently working for the county government of Kajiado County as the ward administrator for Ngong Ward in Kajiado County in Kenya. As a Maasai woman, Janet has extensive experience living and working in the Maasai area of Magadi. She was a teacher and deputy head teacher at Old Kitamachin Primary School prior to becoming head teacher at Naningoi Girls Boarding School, a rescue school for Maasai girls in Kajiado County. While there, she also started a secondary school for Maasai girls on the same school compound. Janet understands and values the role of education in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly for Maasai girls. She was the first Maasai woman from the Magadi area to pursue a Master's of Business Administration degree after receiving a scholarship from Tata Chemicals. Janet is a strong role model for Maasai girls. Janet, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges facing Maasai girls as they near the end of their primary school years for continuing their education?
Okay, Maasai girls go to school very late, at a later age. They start schooling between 10, 11 to 12 years. By the time they are nearing their final year in primary school, because the primary school education takes 8 years, they have reached adolescence. And then in the adolescent stage, this is the time the girls undergo the female genital mutilation, which marks a transition between the childhood and womanhood. So once they undergo the female genital mutilation, these girls are free to have boyfriends, they are free to have sex with men, and this one results to teenage pregnancies. And once they get pregnant, of course, they drop out of school. With some, their parents are willing to bring them back to school, but majority of them are those that their parents don't will to bring them back to school, and they marry them off. A woman or a girl is a source of wealth to the family according to the Maasai community, because right now the bride price ranges between 5 cattle to 100,000 shillings. That is 5 cows and 100,000 shillings. That is the least amount of bride price. It can go up to 200,000 shillings, 10 cows, and so on. So that's why many of them opt to these girls marrying them off. And 80% of Maasai household, they totally rely on the woman for feeding and everything. So once this girl drops out of school at this age without any economic empowerment and being the person who is being looked at by the family members, it becomes a very big problem, because of course that family is a poor family, and then it's challenging again. So those are some of the challenges they face.
Okay. Can you give us a couple of specific examples from your experience? So maybe one from the Maasai Girls Rescue School at Naningoi, and maybe one from the Magadi division or Magadi area itself.
Okay, being a member and particularly grown up in the same society myself, it has been a challenge myself to have, maybe because only I had a supportive father, that's why I went that far. But once I became a teacher and I was seeing the challenges that these girls were going, like forced marriages, early pregnancies, of course I joined the lobby groups for women who struggle to bring these girls back to school and fight with these challenges to make sure they come back to school. And when I was a teacher in Old Kitamachin, one of the girls dropped out of class 7. Her name was Janet Mambai. And when she dropped out, the father married her off to a wealthy...
About how old would she be?
She was about 14 years old. Okay. And the father married her off. She was serving 2 roles. She was a housewife, she was a mother, she was a student, because she came back to school. So with all these challenges, and then there was a lot of domestic violence. Of course, she could not execute her duties as a woman because of her age. So she was really being tortured, and she ran away from the husband's home. When she ran away from the husband's home, the father was not empowered. to take her back to school, of course economically empowered. And then she came to me, and then by good luck I was having linkages with some of the friends who are willing to, through the lobby groups I met some people who are really ready to help these girls. And this lady came across, her name was Leah from Netherlands. And she was looking for a girl to sponsor. She was a mother of two already adolescents who are already working and independent on their own. So she wished her salary could help these girls go through education. And I gave her the name of that girl. Leah sponsored this girl until she finished primary school. She finished secondary school through to the diploma.
Wow.
And this girl right now, she's working in the county, it's the same county government of Kajiado where I'm working as an enforcement officer. So this girl, of course, right now, she's the one who is helping her parents, she's helping her children, and she's almost getting married to another man who is a choice of her own. So I'm so much happy, and that's why actually it has been in my heart that all through my life as a teacher, one thing that I saw would make me to reach to self-actualization is if I help and empower these girls in this community. That one will satisfy my heart. Another example is in the second school where I went. That was a purely rescue school, which was started back by the Christian Child Fund.
What's a rescue school?
A rescue school is a school where these girls were brought back from their husbands and being put into that boarding school. So the Child Fund is the one that built that school. It was known as the Christian Children Fund. It is the one that built this school. This school was in the remotest part of Maasai land, where girls were really facing all these challenges. So to rescue these girls, the Child Fund came and talked to their parents. So they told them, because the bride wealth was the main objective of them marrying off their daughters, they will pay the bride wealth to their parents, and then they'll marry the girls back to school. So that was a negotiation. So these girls the parents were receiving some money in exchange of bringing their daughters to school.
Yes.
So actually I got a girl, of course, from Magadi to that school. This girl finished her class 8 and she passed very well. But the father, because of poverty, and the mother of this girl had died a long time ago, went ahead of getting some bride wealth. But now the teachers of the primary school where the girl was, her name was Judy Mudeu, they did some little fundraising to get the girl the basic necessities to come to school. Now I started a secondary school in the same school, where of course these girls, instead of going far, they could finish primary school and they joined the secondary school. The secondary school, we started with an initiative of the African Development Bank. They're the ones who built the schools. They gave the initial grants to support these girls go through education. And Judy was part and parcel of them. And I took Judy to be part of my family. Over the holidays, we went with her home. She was now part of my family, and she was performing very well. She got a B+. Right now, when I left the school, I left when she was in Form 3, and she's still leading. And I talked to the school board of governors for that girl never to be chased out of school because of school fees, and to the incoming head teacher of the school. And the girl is doing well in the school right now. She's doing her Form 4 at the end of this year. So there have always been, what I believe is, there's a lot of potential in these girls. Yeah, and once we give them a second chance, they are going to make it in life.
So you've answered a bit of the next question already, because I was wondering, again, from your side, why is it important to provide further education opportunities? What does that do for the girls and for their families?
Okay, according to myself and that community, because the whole burden is upon the woman. Of course, men have run away from their roles. The burden of feeding the family, the burden of educating the children is upon the woman. So once this girl is brought back to school, or once this girl, if she is not really gifted in class, because there is another challenge again in Kenya. There is a very high cutoff mark to secondary school. And most of these girls, because of the remoteness of the places and not getting access to a lot of study materials and so on, they don't perform well in their class 8 primary education. So if they don't make it to the next level, According to me, white collar jobs is not the only success in life. There are very many other opportunities like vocational skills, business opportunities, and once we give these girls a training on these areas, we empower them economically. And once we empower them economically, we have empowered the whole family, we have empowered the whole community, we have empowered the whole nation.
Okay.
Because I believe empowering a woman is empowering the whole nation.
So that leads us right into the next question. And as we're starting the development for this new initiative, can you share with us a little bit about your vision or our vision for the Maasai Girls Vocational and Leadership Institute in Magadi?
Okay, this Vocational and Leadership Training Institute is targeting at training these girls on vocational skills. And these vocational skills, some of them are just within them because they have been doing them. Like the beadwork, it's just adding a bit of improvement to suit the market so that they can be able to sell their products, and them getting skills of producing maybe blended materials of whatever they already know to suit the market. So once they are trained on these skills and they get linked to the market, they'll be able to do it well. And then training them on leadership skills. Okay, there are so many. Once they move out and within the society, in the Maasai community, there are women groups. The women have joined themselves into women groups to be able to develop self-help groups to empower them economically. So once we instill the leadership skills in them, this one strengthens them. Once they are outside in the community, in their self-help group, and even as they carry out their businesses. And then once we train them on small, medium enterprise businesses, they move out of the vocational training center, they develop their small business enterprises, and they get income from these ones. Through the profits of what they get, they'll be able to educate their children, they'll be able to help their family, they'll be able to support their society at large, and so on. We train them on the microfinance. And microfinance, there are very many institutions right now willing to help organize group in loans and so on. So once we train them, they'll get empowered to get loans from the microfinance. We teach them on basic accounting. Basic accounting will be able to help them keep records of their sales, and they'll be able to know when they make profits and when they make a loss. We do mentorship programs. Mentorship is bringing role models to the center to mentor these girls. People like me and many others in the society will come and mentor these girls. We train them on life skills. Life skills is how to go about life and be able to go through it and handle the different challenges and issues in life.
Great. How is the community in the Magadi area helping to support both the development and the sustainability of this project?
Of course, for me to get the scholarship, I presented the same issue on the interest of developing this one and was seen as a need in the society. And they say they will donate some land to build this one. And then the leaders are very supportive. The leaders, the community is going to be part of the management of the institution, in as the board of governors, as the managers of the institution, from the same communities where we are going to get trainers, from the same communities where we are going to get a market for the products of this girl. The same community is the ones who are going to mobilize resources to ensure they give their part in supporting the institution. And then we get mentors from this community. We get resources like water from this community, and we get guest speakers from this same community.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you talked about the women's group themselves have donated the land?
Not the women group,
The
but
community?
the community.
The community
Yeah.
leaders.
Yeah.
Okay. And how could donors contribute? How could their contributions, in what way would the contributions assist with the success of the project?
Of course, without funds to build the classrooms, to build
So the construction of the classrooms
the construction of
and the
the classrooms,
dormitories.
the dormitory, the administration block. Of course, we cannot be able to succeed because we don't have any funds to do this.
Okay.
And then the donors will provide sponsorship for these girls. We say these girls are rescued cases where nobody is willing to support them again at the next stage. So the sponsorship will be able to support them in education, educational materials, facilities, technical materials that we are going to need, and so on, will come from the donors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your vision. And we'll all work together to try and make this project a success.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Thank you very much.